Okay, you know how sometimes when you go into a doctor's office or into, I don't know, an auto shop or something, you'll see the anatomy of something, the car engine or human body or whatever. I decided that what might be helpful before we start talking about curve sketching is to give you a diagram and the vocabulary. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the black highlighted marks. In fact, I have that in highlight. So this right here, all of these marks right here. Well, those black arrows indicate where the graph is increasing or decreasing. Intervals of, so how you would mark that is whatever, if this is headed towards negative infinity, it would be negative infinity to the first x value. Then from whatever value that ends at, from x1 to whatever value it ends at here to x2, that's going to be this interval where it's decreasing. And then the final interval, this right here, so from x2 to positive infinity, that's where the graph is increasing again. So when it's asking for intervals of increasing or decreasing, it's just literally asking a visual, where is the graph going up as you read left to right? Where is the graph going down as you read left to right? And where is the graph going back up if it is doing so? Okay, so that takes care of that part. The next part is intervals of concavity. Well, concavity is, let me go ahead and change that color. Concavity is where the graph, the actual curve of the graph, sorry about this, the actual curve of the graph. So this piece right here, what is that interval? Well, that interval is negative infinity up to whatever point this is. So now I'm going to call that, I'll call that x sub a, since these we called x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 3. And then this interval is another interval of concavity, and that interval is from the x sub a to positive infinity. And then somewhere in between those two intervals, there is this point. It's called an inflection point. And that point, whatever that x value is where it stops being decreasing and begins the increase of concavity. So it goes from concave down to concave up, and there's a point at which it switches. That's called an inflection point. And the horizontal lines, I should have talked about that first, is where the tangent line, the slope of the tangent line is 0. Those horizontal lines. So that's where you have mins and maxes. So right here, we have a max, a relative max. Right here, we have a relative min. And what we want to know is, what is that x value? At what point is this x value produces a min or max? And that's called a critical point. Okay, so the reason that I just want you to have this understanding of the vocabulary, that when it's asking you to do certain things, this is all that it's talking about. Okay, the next video, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about how these things are defined, and then we'll do a couple of examples. All right, that's it for this one.